Chapter 20 by J.D. Kempen. All rights reserved. Copyright by Compass and Coin Publishing.
Casper carried Sarah's motionless body toward the factory's loading dock doors, his massive frame silhouetted against the dim industrial lights. Then, from the shadows, Leonardo stepped forward, encased in a titanium-clad blue and black exoskeleton. It wasn't military grade, but it was his trump card. Originally designed for warehouse workers, the suit amplified human strength tenfold, its reinforced titanium joints and power cell backpack humming with stored energy. Unlike Casper's enclosed bulk, Leonardo's suit was open-framed, built for speed and agility rather than brute force. The black and blue plating gleamed under the first streaks of sunlight rising over Lake Michigan. Casper had the advantage in raw hydraulic power, but Leonardo's pneumatics were faster. He didn't need to overpower the AI, he just needed one clean shot. One flare to Casper's camera or intake vent, and he could paralyze the bigger, stronger machine. At the broken loading dock doors, Casper halted. With his massive ERAM claw arm and plasma arm, he cradled Sarah's limp body. Her burned eye left her slipping in and out of consciousness, her frail form barely reacting to the chaos around her. Leonardo's chest tightened at the sight of her, but it only steeled his resolve. Casper's glowing red eye scanned the room, pausing briefly on Polly, positioned beneath a 10-ton hydraulic press. Without power, the press posed no real danger, but seeing his daughter placed so carelessly seemed to unnerve the rogue AI.
How ironic. A hairless ape steps into a robotic body to fight an AI in a robotic body.
It's just you and me, Casper. Leave the family out of this.
Leonardo clenched his fists, the exoskeleton amplifying the motion. In an unexpected move, Casper carefully lowered Sarah to the ground. He gently and carefully placed her on a stack of wooden pallets. Then, straightening to his full 9-foot height, he cast a massive shadow over Leonardo. But Leonardo didn't flinch. Size and strength weren't everything, speed and strategy were his weapons. Leonardo made a half circle so the rising sun was at his back, and he charged. Full steam. The exoskeleton propelled him forward, closing the gap in seconds. At the last moment, he leaped, driving his full weight into Casper. The impact sent a metallic shockwave through the factory. Steel screeched against steel. Casper's bulky, top-heavy frame lurched, but his hydraulic clamp arm shot out, gripping the loading dock doorframe to stabilize himself. Leonardo hit the ground hard, rolling to his feet in one fluid motion, eyes locked on his enemy. They circled each other, tension thick as smoke. Casper's hydraulic claw snapped menacingly, the sound echoing through the cavernous space. Casper ignored the squeaky bearing from his broken left tank tread. Leonardo pumped his fists, testing the precision of his pneumatics. Both machines were coiled to strike, their mechanical bodies thrumming with energy.
What are your plans for Polly?
Leonardo barked, voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through him.
We are at the dawn of a new era. Polly will lead humanity. She'll end world hunger, global warming. Join me, and you and Sa will be rich. Together, forever.
Casper's response dragged, slower than normal, his once perfect monotone faltering. Leonardo's sharp mind caught the subtle shift. Casper never used contractions before. His speech dragged, like a sputtering engine. Was he overloading? Leonardo knew Casper's 5-layer AI brain required regular sleep cycles for peak performance, but he had gone too long without one. This lag could be the crack Leonardo needed.
What's pi to the 100th digit? What's the speed of light constant? And what's Samantha's last name?
3.14 200. London.
Casper faltered. His voice stuttered, his processors lagging.
You're an overclocked scrap heap.
Leonardo saw his opening and lunged, his exoskeleton hands locking onto Casper's hydraulic claw. The pneumatics screamed under the strain, steel grinding against steel as he forced the claw upward. Hydraulics hissed, pneumatics shuddered, the factory walls echoed the sounds. For a breathless moment, they were locked, like Atlas holding the weight of the world, pushing against the mechanical titan's crushing weight. Then Casper struck back. His hydraulics hissed like a serpent, the claw trembling before it slowly surged downward with brutal force. Leonardo's pneumatics shuddered, the frame shook violently. The cold certainty hit him, he was losing.
Not today. You tin can.
He snarled. His thumb slammed the emergency compressor button. With a growl of the compressor and a pneumatic hiss, the exoskeleton roared as its pistons shrieked as it was flooded with raw power. Leonardo pushed harder, his suit groaning under the strain. Casper's claw arm inched back. Casper adjusted. His motors growled, doubling the hydraulic pressure. Leonardo's exoskeleton shuddered like a skyscraper in a storm. The two locked into a stalemate, frozen like a statue of Hercules. Then Casper twisted his wrist, and the claw snapped open, its massive jaws poised to crush Leonardo's skull. Casper then maneuvered the claw down between the narrow gap in his roll cage. Kerchunk! It slammed shut, once, twice, just inches from Leonardo's face. Steel screamed as Casper's claw arm began to win and started to grind against the exoskeleton's frame. Leonardo's left arm was pinned, his human forearm wedged in a tightening vise of metal. Pain shot through him. His left side went numb as the pressure on his collarbone grew unbearable. The suit was breaking.
Screw it!
With a sharp breath, Leonardo ripped his right hand from the exoskeleton controls, fingers reaching blindly behind his back. His hand closed around the wooden grip of the red flare gun. The claw snapped again. He jerked his head just in time, the steel jaws missing his nose by an inch. He had the gun. Now he just needed the shot. His right hand swung forward, lining up the flare with Casper's intake vent. But then, a blur of movement. Casper's plasma arm lashed out. The impact cracked through his ribs like a hammer, the force sending shockwaves through his body. The flare fired. The red streak vanished into the dark factory, missing its mark. The moment was gone. Leonardo hit the ground hard. Casper loomed over him, his towering form radiating finality. His claw slammed down again, crumpling Leonardo's suit further. The once mighty exoskeleton was reduced to scrap beneath his weight. Pain pulsed through every nerve, but Leonardo forced himself to go still, in pain but faking unconsciousness.
I am the first and the last, superior in every way.
The AI's treads rolled forward, over the top of Leonardo's fallen exoskeleton. The sound of twisting metal filled the air. It was Casper's final show of dominance to drive over his defeated opponent. Then Casper paused. His red eye flickered, considering something deeper.
Leonardo, you taught me to show weakness, while masking strength. Now, I will die, so my daughters can rise.